Welcome to Business Mentorship, Keeping It Real, where we feature entrepreneurs who are passionate about their business and have participated in our guest blog, shareyourstories.online. Today, I'd like to introduce you to Lynn McLaughlin, who is a writer, author, and coach, enjoying a second act career helping others navigate the complex world of publishing. And Lynn joins us today from Kingsville, Ontario. Welcome.
Thank you, Trish. I love your platform name, Keeping It Real. It's awesome.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? I mean, we're all doing a little bit of keeping it real in today's day and age, aren't we?
How true, how true.
Now, I know that our viewing and listening audience is going to want me to ask you the question, where do you get the inspiration to not only write one book, but two? And I know that you're in launch mode for your second book right now.
Yeah, it's a very exciting time, actually. I think it's the educator in me. I retired after 31 years in various roles, teacher, principal, superintendent, and now I'm teaching at the college. It's just in my blood. And I loved writing. I started writing as a child. I've just loved it all my life. And so, it took too long. I wish I had done this much, much sooner because I'm really enjoying this second career, as you said.
Yes, exactly. Now, one of the things that I know is that the topic of your book is sharing, actually giving us an opportunity to learn quite a few things about mental health through some fictional characters. So tell us a little bit about, and I know that the second book is called Jackson. So tell us a little bit about the character Jackson and why you decided to write about mental health issues.
Sure. I'll actually just show you the cover of the book.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah. Here we go. So Jackson is a young man, 25 years old. There's two key characters. Jackson is one. And he's been struggling with his whole life, first with his mental health. And then, of course, it ended up as a formal diagnosis of anxiety, generalized anxiety, and mental illness. And you go from Jackson reflecting back to his childhood, to not accepting, to reaching out for external gratification, doing things that are extremely unhealthy for him, through this whole journey where you do get to a point through love and hope and support where Jackson is able to come to the point where he realizes he could have taken control and can face the demons in his own mind. And on the other side, you have a mother who is doing the blame. Why didn't I see this sooner? Not accepting, thinking maybe there'll be a one fix, kiss to the forehead solution, which there's not. And she gets to the point where she becomes so desperate herself. She's creeping on the phone to see if he's okay. She's sending a text message with a question that she doesn't really need an answer to because she needs to know that he's okay. And she can't sleep. She's up at night. Did I miss something? Did I miss a call? Because she became his go-to support person. And it really was detrimental to her own well-being. And she also finds a way to accept, to understand, and to come to the realization that she alone cannot save her son. It really is in his hands. But through love and support, the book does end with hope.
What I really love about the fact is that, mental health is still a topic that we really feel uncomfortable discussing. And you give us an opportunity through Jackson and these fictional characters to perhaps learn a few things, coping mechanisms, and maybe even just being a little bit more comfortable with the whole idea of mental health. Because, I'll use myself as an example. During the last few months, we've been in voluntary self-isolation. And it's been really difficult as an extrovert to live alone. And you can only do so many Zoom invites and, have virtual coffees with folks. And then you really begin to feel kind of isolated and alone. So anxiety I think, takes all different kinds of forms. And one of the really nice things that I love about your story is that, you give people an opportunity to tap into sort of that movie of someone else's life where you can kind of go, maybe I can relate to that a little bit. So why did you decide to write about mental health? I mean, there's so many topics that we all choose to write books about. Why did you choose mental health?
It was something I was living. I was living at the time. My middle child, 3 children, my daughter in the middle, was an anxious young person. And when she moved away to university, the anxiety, the formal diagnosis of anxiety was already there, was just affected her and our family and our lives tenfold. I also had a circle of friends, and 4 of us were helping our children with mental health, but many of them had actually progressed to a formal diagnosis of a mental illness. And we were grappling as parents with what to do with it. And it's very different. You have the educator hat. You're helping parents through, in that form. But when it's your own child, it's just a different you don't see things. It's funny. They're right in front of you, but you don't see them. Yeah. And then as an educator, the level of anxiousness and anxiety that became debilitating. That's where we're talking about mental illness. When it's debilitating to someone and they can't function, it was rising and rising and rising. And I just thought, I need to tell the story. And it's based on true stories of many different people. June is a compilation of many different people's experiences, and Jackson is a compilation of many different people's as well.
Well, I'm sure that when, you're with your book launch that's coming in the coming weeks, I'm sure that folks will have an opportunity to really tap into the story and, take a little bit away from it that we can all use in our day-to-day life. Now, one of the things that I know that you also do is you help folks navigate this whole complex world of publishing. So tell us a little bit about that. How if I was a budding author and I'm sitting with a book in the can and, you and I are connected in some way, how can you help me take that book out to the world?
Absolutely. So my first book, wow, did I blow it? I really, I just thought, I'll just jump in and anyway, regardless, it's a lot more complex than that. I didn't understand distribution, marketing, promotion. You're an expert in marketing, so you would understand this. I ended up publishing in a way where I ordered 200 books at a time and I sold them myself. Not this time. This time around, I got it down pat. I have several authors that I've helped along the way. I have a 4-part series that I've developed through consultation with other authors, hundreds of hours of research and my own experience. And there's 4 modules. 1 hour, I am on a line with you for 1 hour, 4 times over a month. We don't have more than 5 people in the group. There's a consultation at the beginning, so I know what it is you're working on, where you want to go. And I'm helping you through understanding all of the publishing paths, because there are 4. And even within those, it's very complex. Right. I'm helping you understand how to launch your book. And I just posted 8 weeks of how I launched mine on my YouTube channel. And I'm helping you understand publishing and marketing, and helping you not get eaten alive by the vultures that are out there that want $500 and then you get sent a PDF that you still have to figure out yourself. We're having conversation. We're connected. That's what's important. And that's why I love my series. And then afterwards, you get invited to a private Facebook group where all of these people are now moving through a publishing path and we're celebrating with each other.
Isn't that fantastic? Now, the other thing that I know that you're doing, which is really wonderful and something that I've participated in, is your podcast series. Tell us a little bit about the podcast series.
I love helping people tell their stories. I mean, that's become my new why, I think, right? So the podcast series is called Taking the Helm. My first book called Steering Through It. You can see the trend. Taking the Helm. We want people to, jump into that driver's seat to charge. And everyone that I've interviewed, with the exception of one, actually, before I really understood my why, are people who've experienced a crisis or crises in their life or business, as you did, but they found new possibilities. They've opened new doors for themselves. So you can go onto my website now and search the archives. We're up to 33 interviews now. If you've been sexually assaulted, do a search. Someone has been interviewed that's going to help you. I hope through it, you can reach out to them. If you have an eating disorder, if you had to shut down your business, if you don't, it's helping people. And what I love the most, Trish, is after an interview, I did an interview, it's been a month now, 1 week afterwards, and I don't think she'd mind me sharing, Michelle Stein called me and said she had 200 people reaching out to her. And they were people who needed to hear her story about addiction and recovery. There were people that she was starting to help through. There were many, many possibilities. And that just warms my heart. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, for sure. You and I share this whole idea of, and we've talked offline a little bit about my mantra moving forward is collaboration over competition. We all really have to have an opportunity to pay it forward because someone helped us along the way when we were first starting out. And what I really love is the various different touch points that you're offering to help folks sort of break down the barriers and make connections. Now, one of the things that we ask everybody to do in our guest blog is share 3 words of advice. And your 3 words are laugh, perspective, and positivity. So tell us a little bit about those 3 words and why you chose those as part of your story.
Okay. Well, I mean, laughter. without laughter, life is just blah. Laughter
Yeah.
can get you through. I mean, when I had a brain tumor and we were laying around the pool making jokes about whether or not to give it a name, we had to laugh. Now, I didn't give it a name because I didn't want to give it an identity, but you've got to bring laughter. Even in the most horrific situations, humor is part of it.
Right.
Perspective, this is what I'd like everyone to do. Imagine if tomorrow you were sitting in an emergency room and you were told that you could be gone. You have a life-threatening illness. You have no idea what's going to happen in the coming days or weeks. Would you change anything right now about your life? I lived it, and I was forced to change things in my life, and it's so much better than it was now. But I waited until that brick hit me in the head.
Right.
And the last one with positivity is our mind and our body is connected, and you get, what's the word? I got retroactive in my mind, but that's not what the word. It's reciprocal. It's
Right.
reciprocal. You're putting out negativity, you're going to get back negativity. You put out positivity, it will come back to you tenfold. And it makes you feel good. It makes other people feel good. Isn't that what we want in this world? Kindness, positivity, laughter, and perspective.
For sure. Absolutely. Well, Lynn, I want to take this moment to really thank you. I just love all of the work that you're doing and the various people that you're touching in terms of helping folks meet with their own dynamics and kind of takes them outside the box thinking and move outside their own, perspective and reach out for help, put up their hand and ask for help. So that's really very wonderful. And I really do appreciate you taking the time to connect with us today.
And I appreciate you and keeping it real. And you're doing very much the same thing in a different way. And that's what it's all about. You're helping people tell their stories. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Lynn. So to our viewing and listening audience, I hope today that you've had an opportunity to get some perspective and an introduction to the person behind the logo in this edition of Keeping It Real. Thanks very much.
Thank you.